AgTruckTrader Pro Rodeo Team is back on In the Loop podcast again. In our previous Behind the Brand series, we introduced you to the AgTruckTrader Pro Rodeo Team, and here we are again in 2024, bringing you the team's newest charity component. In this series, we will be bringing you each of the team members alongside of their select charities of choice that are near and dear to their hearts. We talk to each individual charity and team member, sharing some amazing life stories, testimonies, trials, and triumphs in this series. AgTruckTrader wants to hear from you, and that's why they have set this challenge up for everybody who is listening to go to our website, AgTruckTraderProRodeo.com/charity, and vote for the charity of your choice. At the end of this series, the voting will cease on March 1st, and the charity that has the most votes will be announced live on RFD TV's and the Cowboy Channel during Ag Rally on March 19th. As you've all heard our team captain Leighton Berry say, team unity is really our foundation, and we all wanted to come together as one unit to accomplish something that's really bigger than any of us can do alone. We really want to do something that's big in the rodeo community and that everybody can rally behind. That is why we wanted rodeo fans to have a voice on who we support. So make sure you go vote at AgTruckTraderProRodeo.com/charity and join us for this touching series on In the Loop podcast. Now let's get into it. Okay, guys, so today we are here with another episode on this amazing AgTruckTrader series, The Team Gives Back. You guys heard us on our AgTruckTrader Pro Rodeo series. We introduced everybody on the AgTruckTrader Pro Rodeo team. I feel like you say that 3 times fast, you might get a little tongue-tied. And so we are here today with our barrel racing team member, Jackie Ganter, and she is accompanied by her charity of choice, Careity, with Miss Lynn Walsh and Beverly Branch. So you get ladies, thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have had a great time talking about and learning. I've enjoyed so much learning about all of these charities that, you know, are so near and dear to our hearts personally. But just like we were talking a little bit behind the scenes, until it happens to you, until you're impacted, you really don't know all the things that are out there, you know, and that's one of the cool things about AgTruckTrader. And as our team is giving back, you know, we talk about unity a lot, but every time you go to AgTruckTrader and you sign up for your free Ag Pack ID, or anytime you purchase an ag vehicle from a dealership, we as a rodeo team, we benefit from that. So I don't know if you guys know, but AgTruckTrader has over 35,000 benefits as the Ag Pack ID, like $35,000 worth of benefits. I mean, that's an astronomical number, but every time you guys sign up for your free Ag Pack ID, you buy a used or a new vehicle from AgTruckTrader dealer, our team benefits, and that is what is going back to, we're giving back to our charity. So that's where these fundraising efforts are coming from. And then we're including everybody as a unity, as a whole, to come and vote for the charity. So just a little bit of a back source on that. I know that I kind of got a little off track there, but I just wanted everybody to know like how we're actually making this money to give back to these charities. It's because you guys are supporting AgTruckTrader. AgTruckTrader is supporting us as a rodeo team, and then we're able to give that back. So with further ado, Lynn and Beverly, I'm so excited to visit with you guys because I've read a little bit about what you do, but I'm really excited to learn more. So tell me what Careity is and how you guys came to be and what you're all about.
Well, first of all, we provide services that other organizations don't provide. We provide mammograms, diagnostics, biopsies, surgeries, and with doctors and consults, we also, depending on what the doctor orders and the financial situation of the patient, is how we look at things. We don't draw a line. What we do is get to learn more about each person and then decide if they need our financial help. But we will, even if if they don't have financial needs, we will still navigate them through the system because each and every one is important to us. Saving lives is extremely important to us.
Well, and that is, there's nothing more than we strive to do is saving lives, right? And creating a longer life here on this earth. Lynn, I love earlier how you told me, you said, "Hey, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been doing this for a long time." And I love that. So talk a little bit more about that and just what you guys have been doing.
Well, we can start about over 35 years ago. We used to do trail rides. I mean, we own horses, we ride horses, we participate not as much as we used to in horse events, but it's our life, it's our lifestyle. Every morning you get up, no matter what the weather is, you have to go out and feed. So that's
Yeah.
how you start your day, and that's important to us. So doing the trail ride and the celebrity cutting, and now having Fort Worth Stock Show giving us the pink night for the last few years is absolutely amazing to us. And it's all about the reach, all about reaching people who need help, no matter what kind of help it is. We are there to help because we have a mission, not an agenda.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so Beverly, tell me a little bit about your passion as a part of Careity and kind of how you and Lynn both work together as being part of this organization.
Well, we saw that there was a need, and we have a knack for fundraising, and we've been raising funds together for several years, and we both have unique talents, I guess, that go together really well to produce some pretty neat events. And so, it's a matter of seeing the need of running things efficiently as far as services. We both lost our moms to cancer. We've experienced that, and so we just saw some things that we thought, well, why don't we do this? And it wasn't really our intention. We both have our own businesses. We've both been doing other things, but this came up as an opportunity and something we thought, okay, God really must have another thing in mind than what we've been doing. And so we took that lead.
I love that. And like you were talking earlier, you guys having a mission, not an agenda. So, Jackie, I want to bring you into this conversation and talk to you a little bit about why Careity was the charity of your choice, which is also tongue tying. But tell me a little bit about your passion and your heart behind Careity and why, as an AgTruckTrader team member, you chose them as your charity of choice.
Well, my mom is a breast cancer survivor. She had an ongoing run with it for about 7 or 8 years. And as many people know, it's just my mom and I. My dad passed away when I was little. And so she kind of didn't give herself another choice but to fight it and try to live. It was stage 4. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, we already had an existing relationship with some really good friends that were doctors at Scott and White and Temple. And so she immediately went there and to begin treatment or just even, figure out what to do, start a treatment plan and everything. And her doctor's name was Mark Holging, and Mark and his wife, Becky. And so, like I said, that it was an ongoing fight for about 7 or 8 years before she was deemed, in remission. And so then now being part of the AgTruckTrader team, and when the charity came about, I called Becky and I said, AgTruckTrader, we have this deal going with the charities and I need to pick one. And I want it, to have some relation to breast cancer, obviously, because I'm mom. And I'd like to, I kind of want your thoughts on what's the best one. And she said, well, Mark, who has since that time passed away, she said Mark was a huge believer in Careity. And so she brought it to my attention. And he was one of the head oncologists at Scott and White for many, many years. And she said that it was one of his favorite charities that there is. And so I do all kinds of stuff with Becky. We own horses together and we're very good friends. And then they played a huge part in saving my mom's life. And so I had heard of Careity before, of course, with the celebrity cutting they do. And just being involved in kind of our Western lifestyle and way of life, I had heard of them. And so I, looked it up and I looked more into it, and I called Becky back and I was like, yep, that's the one I went with. It looks awesome to me. And so I was very grateful to find that. I feel like, you don't always know what you're giving to or, what the real benefits are. And I feel like Careity goes above and beyond to do everything that it says and that they advertise. And I just think it's an amazing charity, and I'm glad that that's the one that I picked.
Well, and I think that that's something we've talked about in this series several different times, is we've all in one form or fashion been affected by cancer, maybe not personally, but somebody we know, and it being so close and near and dear to you and your mom. Talk me through that just a little bit more. I know I don't think I've ever seen you not with your mom. It's you and your mom all the time. You guys are traveling together, you're best friends, you're running barrels together and all the things. So what were some of the ways that you guys worked through some of that stuff, and how it maybe changed your perspective on life every day?
It was 2010 when she was diagnosed. So I would have been a young teenager. And I remember, we live in Abilene. And so to drive to Temple, it's about 3 hours. And so pretty soon after, I guess I would have been close to turning 15, because pretty soon after she got diagnosed, I actually got my hardship driver's license, because when she would go to chemo to Temple, she went every 3 weeks, I believe, and my granny would go with her. So that would kind of leave me here by myself to run the place and go to school and everything. And so just for like a day, but I got my hardship license at 15. And so, I could drive to school or drive to Jackpots or whatever. It kind of, I mean, in a good, bad way. When she was diagnosed with cancer, she had several really, really nice barrel horses that she was running and winning on. And I was not quite at that level. I was still kind of just coming up. And basically when she got sick and when she started getting too weak to ride, she was like, we have to do something with these horses. And so we either need to sell them or you need to try to ride them. And so that was kind of when I made the step from, good barrel horses to great barrel horses. And it was, at that time, it was a really big step. I was not riding those caliber of horses. And so I feel like that was kind of a big part in kind of jumping my career to the next level, and which then made for an awesome youth run on my behalf. And then for a long time, we, run a horse boarding and swimming facility here in Abilene. And for a long time, my mom didn't want anyone to know that she was sick. So I would say for the first probably couple years, nobody even knew that she had cancer. And she went through all kinds of crazy deals trying to save her hair that worked for quite some time in the chemo. And so for a long time, nobody knew she had cancer. And then so everything kind of, other than, behind the scenes, everything was different. But on the forefront, nobody really knew anything was going on. And then when she lost all of her hair in one night. She had done all these things to try to save her hair, and it had worked for so long. And then she lost it all in one night. And my mom always tells this story that I walked into her bedroom and she was just sitting there, and all of her hair was on this like towel in front of her. And I just turned around and walked out. I didn't say a word. And Mom said she thought to herself, like, was a little insensitive, like, why did she say anything? And Mom said it was not 10 minutes that my granny's car pulled up, my granny's sister's car pulled up, my grandpa pulled up, all these cars just started pulling up, and all these people started coming in.
You had called everybody.
I called everybody, and Mom was like, oh, I didn't really want that. I was like, well, that's what you get, because I don't know how to handle this by myself. And so, yeah, it was my mom and my granny and grandpa and I were very small family and very close knit. And it kind of just took all of us. I remember my granny was raised on a ranch, but she definitely grew up, the cheerleader and kind of city. And she sacrificed a lot when I was growing up, trying to help me get to barrel races and stuff. If mom couldn't go, there was, times she'd be too sick or too weak or whatever. And, or, have been recovering from surgery. She had 9 surgeries in 1 year. And so, a lot of that time, Granny would do her best to get me to youth rodeos and youth barrel races and everything else. And, I was young. And so I think we tag team driving, and it's a miracle that we're still alive and all the horses were alive. But yeah, I don't know, we kind of just all made it through. And I feel like that's kind of how my granny is and my mom, that, kind of whatever they face, they just get through. And that's how I was raised. And so I don't think any of the 3 of us, it kind of just, it wasn't an option. It was just what was in front of us. And this is what we had to do to get through it. And it's funny. I think back on those years, and I didn't have a dad. It was just mom and I. And you look back on it and you're like, wow, that was kind of a lot. And, at the time it was just our life, and we made it work. And it's kind of crazy to look back on it now and think of, all the things we did. And mom going to Temple, basically, living in and out of Temple. And it was so funny to me now that, that really was such a hard time, because at the time I guess it just was our life. So I didn't really think much of it. And now, to think I'm like, somebody else in that same situation, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know the help that I had from my family and mom had. And I mean, my grandparents, really took over, helping us and doing stuff. And so I think, if someone doesn't have that support system or doesn't have those people around them, who do they go to? And I think that's a neat thing about this charity is they can come to them, because I can't imagine going through that without a support system.
Well, and what an amazing story! Just to know that you guys have fought through those fires, and like you said, that you knew no other way. That's just the way you did it. And now you look back and you're like, wow, look what we've done, and that's amazing. And so excited and proud for your mom that she is such a fighter. I mean, has to be anybody listening out there. What an inspirational story. So, ladies, I want to touch back with you on Careity. And like she said, when there is no place to go, you have a place to go. When you don't have help, you do have help. So Careity is it's an organization that is very, very involved in the Western industry. You guys have several events throughout the year. Talk about what Careity does for a person that comes to you guys needing help.
Well, first, I want to be able to address the fact that we believe in very, very low-cost events. The entire venue for the Careity Celebrity Cutting is donated by the National Cutting Horse Association. Same as with stock show. So we don't pay big salaries for any celebrity volunteers or anything. Our money is designated for direct patient services, and that's what we do. So when somebody calls us, whether, like I said, whether they need financial assistance or even if they have insurance, we will help navigate them through the system. We work strictly with doctors. Our board is all physicians, because we don't think that the community knows enough about cancer to make those type of decisions. So we work with our physicians on each and everything that we do. When calls come into our office, they come directly into us. We are the intake and the first person that they speak to. And no matter what their situation is, we don't want them to die. So we try to navigate the best we can throughout the system and make sure that these people are taken care of one-on-one. They have to know somebody cares, and we care. That's why we're here, is because we care.
Yeah. Well, and Beverly, elaborate a little bit on that. The celebrity cutting event is obviously something you guys do. The Fort Worth Stock Show has given you a pink night. You also have another one you mentioned. What all goes into being a part of those production events, and how? I mean, I know you guys have over 7,600 services that you offer to anybody that's a part of Careity. So expand a little bit more on that.
Well, producing an event is a pretty large undertaking, and we've pretty well gotten it as best we can, functioning like a machine. We have to be very efficient in how we do this, because we are also doing the patient intake at the same time as providing an event that gets 3,500 or so people in the Will Rogers. And any event, I will say, takes a lot of planning. Whatever size event you put on, if it can be for 100 people at a luncheon versus 3,500 at an event like that, it seems to take the same amount of energy and focus and teamwork and creativity on making it work and have it pull off correctly, the way you need it to pull off. So we've been doing it for an awful long time, and it is something that we've got a way of getting it done. There's so many people involved, and that's the same way I believe that we do as far as our services. We try to operate in just a really efficient environment. We don't look for a bunch of meetings. We don't look for red lines in the sand that we draw. It's a matter of what is the need, and let's jump to it and get it done and move on, because that patient's going to have the next step that we're also going to have to get moving. In these services, we have a teamwork, with our physicians, and we have in the clinic, we have our clinical staff of a dietitian, a psychotherapist, a chaplain, social worker, a navigator. We have the oncology massage therapy. We have the acupuncture. We have all these services working together. And so as each one talks to someone and maybe sees a need for that service, the oncology massage therapist may hear a patient talking about a real problem that they're having psychologically. So they will tag team the psychiatry, the psychotherapy department, and get that person taken care of. We do find that we jump on it. We get on it. You do not wait around for our help. We answer the phone. We get right back to you. We start getting solutions. Your head will spin how fast we can get someone moving and taken care of. And I think that's where it touches my heart a lot, where we have a lot of people who don't have means, who aren't connected. And as soon as they get connected with us, they absolutely feel like a VIP, because we treat everyone the same. Our goal is to get that patient into care, get them taken care of. And we stick with them throughout their entire journey. We don't say, okay, here, this is over. We're done. Now we're going to pass you off to someone else. We are in contact with everyone that we are working with, and we stay in contact with them because we don't want anyone to fall in a crack. So I think that, to Jackie's term, I really appreciate what she's been through. My mother, too, had the breast cancer, and I worked in a family company with her for 25 years. And there's nothing like your mother, who you work with every day and trust and is your very best friend. So I appreciate what you've been through.
Well, and I think that, as I'm sitting here, my grandmother, I lost her to breast cancer as well. And it was, 20 years ago, and they didn't have help like this at that time. And they didn't have the navigation. They didn't have the tools. They didn't have the outsourcing. It was like, here's this doctor that you're going to go to and hope it works, And so I think that the biggest thing, as I'm listening to you guys, it's like, we're here to help in whichever way you need help navigating. If that's doctors, outlets, we're going to figure it out. If it's the psychologist outlet, if it's massage, like whatever aspect of the journey you need help with, Careity is here to help. And that's really what I'm hearing from you ladies, is that it doesn't matter what, and I love that. I say all the time, women are hard-headed, but it's a good thing, because it doesn't matter what you need, you're going to figure it out. And especially on this kind of journey with your family and everything along your side. But just like Jackie touched, it's overwhelming, and life still happens while you're battling cancer. And so being able to navigate life, and now the new path you go down to fighting the cancer, that's huge. And I think that you've really got to have a lot of feedback from families on, and those who are fighting the fight, how much they appreciate your support there.
Yes, we do.
We came up with, actually, Beverly did, over 20 years ago, the Cowgirl Up poster. Have you ever seen that? It's our
I haven't.
Getting a mammogram. Here's a small one, but we have a big poster, and let's see here. I was trying to see if I could find it here. We have a large poster, and on that poster we have coupons, so that that's one of the most important things to us, of course, are cowgirls, and cowgirls need to know that we're there, because, like you said, they're sometimes stubborn and independent and what have you. But
we know that really well.
We know that well.
Yeah.
We are them.
And some, just because they have horses doesn't mean they have insurance, and we have all found that out. And so we try to address those needs, and they really don't think that there's anybody out there for them. They think that only a certain group of the population can get help. But we have found through relationships that we can help a whole lot more than people think we can. And whatever route we try to get the patient to go to is usually the best route for them, for their life-saving procedures. And we had a gal, actually, who was a Radio City Rockette, and she just sent us something about a month ago saying, I thought that the system was going to forget me.
Fail her.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and then I found Careity. And she says, and you all saved my life. And we're close friends with her now. I mean, we have, our circle of friends happens to be a lot of our patients these days, and they're all willing to finish their procedures and go out and try to help us, because we don't have administrative staff. Our money is targeted for clinical staff to take care of patients and for patient care. And that's the way we designed this, and we've kept it that way for many, many years, and that's the way it's going to stay.
Well, and I love, that was going to be my next question, which you answered it, Lynn, is if you are any cowgirl out there listening and you need help with cancer support services, what do you help with? But you answered that. My next question is, if there's somebody listening that wants to be a part of Careity, that wants to give back to Careity, that it wants to be involved in any which way, what is the best way for them to go about doing that?
Well, if they call us and then they get on our mailing list when there's an event coming up, whether it's a celebrity cutting or stock show or even a clay shoot or any survivor events or all, we just send out an email to everyone on that list. They choose what they want to participate in, if it's convenient that day or if that suits them, that's great. Then that's what we want them to be able to do, is something that they enjoy. And we want them to have fun. It's not like our survivor groups are not support groups. They're fun groups. It's a time for survivors and their guests to come out and enjoy themselves and know that there's friends. We're all here for them. We're all together. And we're not dwelling on something. We're looking into tomorrow, not yesterday.
Well, and I love that. It's an empowering group, and that's just it. You're in this fight, and I feel like it is so easy to walk through the valleys, but you're bringing it up to the mountain here, and you're fighting a good fight. You're empowering those who continue to fight, who have fought and won, and we're celebrating those who have fought and lost. But I say lost, like, it really hasn't lost. We did several interviews we've done with all these charities, and even the lives who are not still with us have contributed and left a legacy behind for those to come and are still going to endure the fight. And so in the end, it all comes out. But Jackie, I want you to touch a little bit more on this and celebrating your mom's victory and empowering. But Careity is near and dear to your heart. What's the main reason you want to see this charity get a lot of votes on AgTruckTraderProRodeo.com/charity?
I just think for what they do and who they are as people, and what they do for the people around them, I feel like everyone involved in this charity is very selfless, and they're, doing the best they can for as many people as they can. It's not honing in on, one or two people that, can afford to be there. It's they're doing everything they can, whether you have means, you don't have means, wherever you come from, who you are, cowgirl, not cowgirl, they're just for everybody. And I think that, and unfortunately in today's day and age, you see so many cancer diagnoses, and it just seems like every other day you have, a family member, a friend, a acquaintance, a business partner, somebody that you're hearing of that's, suffering from this. And I feel like everyone going through it needs help and support. And so to be able to have a charity like this for people to go to is, I think, just inconceivable how huge of an impact it can have. And especially, our Western community in particular is a close-knit, group. All of us that go to the rodeos, we're, whether I've talked to you once or talked to you 50 times, we're all friends. And like you and I talked about on our last podcast, how we have each other to root for in, we don't do the same event, but we have each other to root for. And I feel like that's kind of embodies the whole Western community. And I feel like this charity kind of embodies that as well, as just, we're all like a big family and everybody wants the best for each other. And I think that's what makes this the best charity.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good one. I like mine too. Mine is Huntsman's Charity, but I won't be as competitive with you as I was with the boys. Like, I was giving them a pretty hard time that I was going to kick their butt. But like me and you, we can tie on charities if we want to. It's okay. We can side there.
We can go head to head.
Yeah, we can go head to head. Ladies, Lynn and Beverly, is there anything else you would like to add and discuss that we haven't talked about today about Careity?
Well, as Jackie said, yes, there are more diagnoses, but there's more early detection, and there's more survivors. And it's real important, especially for cowgirls, to know that no matter how old you are, if you have a symptom, it needs to be addressed. You don't have to wait till a certain age, like some people recommend. If you're 15, or if you're 20, or if you're 30, and you have a lump, it needs to be addressed, and the outcome is usually incredibly good. So the earlier that it is addressed, the more chance of survivorship.
And there's so many things to be done these days. There's just so much hope. There is just so much hope, that we do want to jump on it and give that hope, keep it alive.
Yep. I love that. Where there's a lot of hope, and with the empowerment of you two ladies and everybody on the Careity board, it gives somebody hope that's in the fight. And if there's anybody listening, obviously these amazing charities, we've all come as our rodeo team charity selections, but if there's anybody listening, please reach out. Careity.org is a great place to go and find those. Everybody can go and vote. We all want you to vote for your charity of choice, AgTruckTraderProRodeo.com/charity. March 1st is the end of the voting. and we will have our counts tallied up. Like I said, Jackie and I, we're going to go head to head. So we're good with that. You guys can go vote for Huntsman's and Careity. No problem. And also we're going to be announcing that as a team on March 19th on RFD TV and the Cowboy Channel live at Ag Rally. So I'm very, very excited. I was giving the boys a hard time, telling them I was ready to lift that check up. No problem. So yeah, we're a little competitive here, but it's all for a good cause, and we're all raising awareness. Lynn, Walsh, Beverly, Branch, thank you guys so much for joining us today and sharing a little bit about Careity and all the great things you guys are doing in the Western industry and just in the industry general. Just, you're fighting cancer and you're giving people hope and you're giving people alternatives and solutions. And we appreciate you guys taking your time today.
Well, thank you. We're so honored. And Jackie, thank you so much for nominating us and thinking about us and putting us in this position. We really, really appreciate and wish your mom and everyone very, very, very good health and wish them all well. Everything.
Well,
good.
thank you. I'm glad to be supporting y'all.
Oh, thank you.
You have my vote.
Well, thank you, ladies, and we will see you down the road.